strong as a boy. That's my girl. She never messed with dolls. Not her. She kicks a ball as well as a man. She does. Well, young lady, your fun's over. We'll have a few changes from now on. You can't trust boys, you know. They're only after one thing. I'm a man, and I know what men are after. Who's going to marry you if you don't behave proper? You're a young woman now, and you bloody well behave like one. In my house, you do as I say. You little slut, get that muck off your face and give your mum a hand. Who the hell do you take yourself for, a boy? You had it coming to you? You slut.
Virgin?
No. Never mind. Let's just hope she finally learns. You are clearly beyond parental control and incapable of taking proper care of yourself. For your own protection, therefore, you will be sent to a corrective institution where you will be taught moral discipline and kept under control.
Right, they'd never keep me under control. You never keep me under control. I'll always fucking do what I want to do. I was scared, but I was appearing to be very angry. But it was the fear that was sort of inciting that anger, because I couldn't cope with it in any other way. I wouldn't just swear. I'd go like, fuck, fuck, double fuck, stick it up your ass and everything. I don't give a fuck now. So, I mean, if I was going to get my points lost, I was going to do it in style. So, I didn't learn anything about the outside world. They never taught you anything about that. To me, it was just a place that I'd come from. I was sort of stared at in the street and pointed at, and mothers told their daughters that, you know, if they didn't behave themselves, they'd end up like me. But you have to steal. I mean, you can't live on what the social gives you. Not if you want things. And there was lots of things I was missing. Like my clothes. Everybody was wearing nice, fashionable, trendy gear, and I wanted to. I was 16 and I wanted to. So I needed the money to buy the clothes, to try and fit back in.
Young lady, you appear to be determined to take this path of self-destruction. You need to be protected against yourself. I recommend a period of time in a corrective institution so that you can learn how this society expects you to behave.
Teach me how to behave. Teach me how to fucking behave, you fucking wait, mate. You wait till I come out. I'll show you how they've taught me to behave. They ask you, have you got a Tampax in? If you say yes, and you have to take it out, and they give you another one. And like, you have to do all this in front of them. And they're actually standing there watching you do this. And they take great delight. I mean, the longer they can keep you naked, the more in control they feel. Miss, I want a fucking Tampax! My fear was replaced by anger. And I thought, well, I'm going to do you before you do me. You had to be vicious. Because if I hadn't done her, they'd have done me. Do you understand? If you become too friendly with someone, they'll move them. It's their way of punishing you in a different way without actually putting you on report. Because it's easier to deal with one than it is with two. Just so boring. And there's always this air of something's going to happen, you know, because something always does. But I wasn't scared anymore after Borstal. There wasn't anything to be scared of. As far as I was concerned, I'd seen it and done it. I wanted to be a toughie. I wanted to come back in with a crime that was bigger than my last one. There's nothing outside for you, you know. There is no sort of rule book for living out here. But there's one for living in there, and you try and break as many as you can. You don't know anything about the world. All I knew was this Borstal life. I knew I'd go back to prison because my life was back in there, whereas I knew how to play the game in prison because you've got friends and you know the routine. You know what's expected of you in prison. Well, yeah, even if it's only a kicking, you know, it's like at least the prison officers know your name.
Nice to see you.
I was smashing the door and smashing the cell and not knowing that they actually had a heavy mob, which is a group of officers who are actually trained to restrain. They don't just restrain you, I mean, they mean to hurt you. They all want their sort of pound of flesh. And then again with the injections, you know that sometimes they don't work. Perhaps they're going to double the fucking dose, you know, and like I'm going to die of an overdose. You know, I'm dying, I'm fucking dying now. I'm going to die, this is how I'm going to die. And like, and they'll just write me off. You know, it was inevitable, she was institutionalised. She's always been a violent prisoner, and we had to restrain her in such a way, and there's nobody outside to ask questions or to, you know, make a protest about your death. So you're totally in their hands. Bleak House is a scary place. You can be down there for a very, very long time, and the prison officers are always very hostile towards you, because if you're on punishment, then you're there to be punished, and not only is it just by locking you in a cell all the time. I was there for 6 months. In the end, I was there for so long, I used to wonder, was I finally cracking up, and was I doing things and I didn't know that I'd done them? All I was used to was these nasty, nasty faces at a door, giving me food with smirks, having to ask male officers for Tampax. So I wasn't used to people being nice to me. And if they were, I always expected something nasty to happen. I thought they were only being nice to me to let me know what it felt like to have nice feelings, and then they'd do something terrible to me. So I was living a life of total fear. I sort of just disappeared into my own head, and that was my only way of surviving, was to pull myself into myself. I was frightened of dying. I thought I was just gonna fade away. No! 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 My sentence had finished. They dumped me out in that state. Some protection. I was a physical and mental wreck. I couldn't talk to anyone. I couldn't do anything. I was just a wreck. I did another sentence, and then another one after that, but I eventually got to a hostel, which is a sort of halfway house. It took me an awful long time to relate to the wardens there as people, but after a lot of patience on their part, they could see the frightened 14-year-old child that was behind all that horrific stuff that had happened in prison. They gave me space. Eventually a little bit of trust arrived, and I started to open up. And so the anger's still there, but it's now a controlled anger, and I can use it in a constructive way rather than just destroying my own life.